they pretty much responded all year long. From a character perspective, from an attitude perspective, couldn't be prouder of the work that we put in coming into this game. And when you lack confidence and you lack the ability to shoot, sometimes it just feels so funny out there. But to our guys' credit, for the last 80 minutes of action, if you look at St. Joe's and you look tonight, to be able to defend the way we're defending and be in these games with the way that we're shooting the ball, at the end of the day, is pretty great sign of a group of guys that actually are really care and try. I felt like we practiced really hard the last couple days. Didn't have a whole lot of work the week previous, and I felt like, you know, we looked right, you know, and I think it just takes somebody to make one, where it takes a group to have a little bit of a moment sometimes to spark it, and then all of a sudden, like, next thing you know, you get going. And I thought RJ Johnson tonight coming back, we really missed him. I think you can tell just his ability level to play the position really helps us. And you know, to me, we were able to start to figure a couple things out in the second half with RJ making some decisions and being able to make some plays. And to me, he really turned the game for us. You know, Tyler, his stat line is incredible: 6 steals, 21 points, 10 rebounds. It's hard to be perfect. And you know, he continued, I thought, tonight to really give us a boost. And then we had a number of other guys just play extremely hard. I'm proud of Jonah. It's not easy for a guy that's accustomed to shooting the ball well to play through that. And he's starting to regain himself a little bit in terms of the Jonah of old, in terms of his spirit, his defensive ability, his effort level. And he looks to me, especially the last 2 games and even tonight, that he's able right now to not pout. It's not going down for him, but I'll tell you what, he's really defensively starting to bring back the Jonah pre-injury. So we had a lot of things go well for us in the second half. I thought the key to the game, though, was our ability to weather this 2.5-week stretch that we've been on, where, boy, it just doesn't seem like it's going in right now. You know, our shooting percentages can't be any worse unless we go 0 for. But we were able to play through it tonight in a much better way than we did against Joe's in terms of being able to finish. And again, I'll give RJ a lot of credit. But I'm happy for our team. Every time that we've been in a little bit of a sticking point where you're waiting for them to go away and cash it in, where most teams you can see them like, it's just not, you know, this finish is going to be a little bit hard for us. They are resilient, they stick together, and they play hard. And I thought tonight defensively, I mean, we forced 19 turnovers, we had 15 steals and 6 blocks. A lot of times that kind of game, that stat line, you look at it and say, man, you could have really got out on somebody. But to be able to plus 17 in the second half, you know, really is RJ's combination offensively, and then defensively we were consistent all the way through. So I'm proud of our guys. It was a gut check for us here. We've had a couple of tough weeks, and the hope is that, like, we don't dial it back and we stay with it with the momentum to be able to keep finishing games here late in the year. Questions?
Coach, going before this game, just 5-11, when you're down at the half, what was the sort of mindset shift, or what were the key things that you focused on going into that half and going into the locker room to discuss it with the players?
Yeah, like, number one, the first thing we pointed out was how good we were defensively. Like, can't lose that. Ball's not going in right now. Stick with the other thing, and eventually it's a game of runs. And eventually, at some point, if you just keep sticking with it, something's going to happen for you in a good way. And so from a defensive standpoint, we were good. We were on it. I think offensively, what we needed to do a little bit more with them is just play north-south. We had no free throw attempts in the first half. We weren't getting to the basket at all with clean looks. And then keep trusting that if you make the right play, the right pass, somebody eventually, you're going to get a good look. We got some really quality looks in the first 8 minutes of the first half, didn't go in, and then I thought Jameer made one. Jameer made one, was a big shot for us. He kind of opened it up. RJ stepped right behind the ball screen. He also made a second 3 in the second half. Those threes sort of helped us. And again, it's the power of just staying with things and doing what you do well. And offensively, we're trying to help our guys sort of like best we can. But I think we've all been there before. At some point, it has to go in. Like, you got to make one. You know what I mean? And I thought there was a couple key baskets, but we were much better in the second half. We only took 6 threes, we got 17 free throws, and we shot 57%. We were better in the second half.
Coach, you talked before about the sort of injury bug this season, and you've played a lot of different combinations of rotations. I wanted to ask, with this current rotation tonight, how confident are you in that group in this late stage of the season?
This is the first time in a while that we've had all our guys available. You know, where RJ's been out with a concussion, Jameer's back, Jameer's out, Jonah's in, Jonah's out. Like, we haven't had the ability to really practice with everybody. So I think tonight, finding a crew of guys that have the ability level to sort of stick with it, and you know, having more available. You know, we could have really used RJ over the weekend with our ball handling. You know, Miles, he had a lot of work to do in that game on both ends of the floor, and he needed a break. And then tonight we got RJ going a little bit, which helped us, so we had the ability to kind of shift gears. But if we were healthy and can stay healthy, I'm very confident in our group.
Coach, we only saw just under 15 minutes from Miles Corey. What did you see in the game that kept him from seeing his usual workload in the team?
Just felt like from an offensive perspective, we needed a little bit more of a decision maker with the ball, and I think RJ gives us a little better chance of that. Nothing that Miles didn't do or should have done more of. I think it was much more of the fact that I thought RJ looked really good in some segments in the second half, and we went with that. Defensively, RJ was really good. I thought our backcourt in general tonight was very good. That's 2 really good guards on Duquesne's team. I can't tell you how impressed I am with Ginyard. I think he's one of the best point guards in our conference. And I also think Jimmy Williams is a very difficult cover. And I thought, for the most part, 3 for 12 from 3, and they were 9 for 24 from the floor. We did a decent job there. The key to the game, though, is not getting worn out. You know, Duquesne really wore us out in game 1 inside. We had a very difficult time holding ground, rebounding. Just tonight, I thought we neutralized a little bit more of their inside game, and we just didn't get taken advantage of as much. And so from Jameer and Alex and Kian, even Tyler in there a little bit, we made a lot of good hard plays around the basket where we didn't get overwhelmed. They didn't kill us from 2, so I thought that was good.
Coach, you mentioned earlier it's been a rough 2.5 week stretch these past 3 games. What does a win like this do for you as you head on the road to take on a Fordham team you previously lost to, as well as just the A-10 tournament in Pittsburgh?
At this time of year, you know, you're in March, winning's gold, you know, however you can get it. You know what I mean? I mean, they're so hard to get late in the year. And I think, you know, obviously one sigh of relief, deep breath, right? Feel good again. Have everyone's attention in practice a little bit better. Film session maybe a little bit more positive, you know, so to speak. But just in general, I think at this time of year, you're constantly trying to squeeze as much as you can to build momentum for the best time of year where you can keep playing. We have an opportunity to finish the regular season. We have an opportunity to go into the conference tournament. You're trying to build momentum. You're obviously trying to set yourself up for your best seed. And, you know, with this team currently, with who we are, you know, 1 game can maybe turn into 2. And if two turns to 3, you never know. It's that time of year where if you're just staying with it, it's a game of endurance. And people that do things the right way the longest usually give themselves the best chance. And I think this time of year, you can go a lot of different ways. Distractions, not playing well, season's coming to a stretch. There's a lot of different things going through guys' heads this time of year. So at this time of year, you're really looking for a group that is enduring the grind still. And I think this was a good indication of our group of really just hanging tough and still playing with great pride. And we have to do that one more time. We have a great opportunity on the road. Fordham, very difficult game. What Mike has done with that team this year has been so impressive. We had them here in our place, and you know, quite frankly, they took the game right from us. We didn't play well against their zone at all. It's going to be a big concern going there. Their size really, really hurt us in terms of like just how they rebound and there's around the basket. So we got our work cut out for them. Fordham's been really good in Atlantic 10 play.
Coach, there was a big difference in the halves in a lot of ways. One of which was 3-pointers. You shot 11 in the first half, only 6 in the second, and there were no foul shots in the first, and you had 17. I know the dynamic of the lead at the end inflated that, but was that something that was emphasized at halftime, to stop shooting threes and try and get the ball to the basket?
Yeah, Yeah, two emphasis at halftime was one, taking care of it. If you look at the game, our turnovers led to just, you can't defend the breakaway layup. So we had to just find a way to turn the ball over a little bit less. That was step one, let's get some shots at the rim. But I think the other thing for us is to be able to find a way to get to the rim. We didn't have the ability in the first half with the way we were playing to create an advantage for lanes or post-ups or anything. I thought in the second half, we were able to give the ball to RJ, and really the back 12 minutes really just played north-south with different combinations of people, and we were able to take advantage of that, north-south game right in the middle. And we had some great cuts along the back doors for 2-point shots. I thought that RJ in particular was really good in the two-man game, and defensively we were able to create some opportunities in transition. But we didn't just shot jack. We didn't just run into late clock plays. We played downhill a lot more.
And then points over turnover, 24, there hasn't been a lot of points over turnover lately, that's a.
We're the
good
team that
number.
forces more turnovers than anybody in the country that doesn't score off them. It's the damnedest thing. We deflect, we are one of the highest deflection teams I've ever been around that can't come down with the 50-50s. We're one of those teams that steals the ball a lot. And you would think at some point in time when you have 15 steals, that at some point those steals give you some easy ones. But for whatever reason, we're just not good enough in transition to capitalize. But you're right about that. I think at halftime, they actually held the points off turnover deal. I mean, we had 15 turnovers and they ended up having 11 steals as well. And their steals led to more runouts than our steals did, but you're right on points off turnovers. You would think that we can create more baskets and easy opportunities off our defense. And my hope is that our last couple practices and then maybe a couple more sessions here as we go to Fordham, that we can maybe get our running game going again, but we're just not comfortable right now. Our decision-making, our ability to strike and transition hasn't been what it needs to be at this time of year.
At one point, you had 32 points, and 16 of them, by my count, were off turnovers. It was half the points.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, it's no secret offensively, we have challenges. Our shooting numbers speak volumes, our turnover numbers speak volumes of our skill level and our offense in the half court. We need to be in transition, and we've leaned into our defense exclusively. It's been a great strength for us in terms of our ability to deflect and steal and do things. And I think at the end of the day, if our defense can continue to hold up like it is right now, maybe we'll get some more easy baskets for ourselves. We were very good defensively in this game, and we were very good defensively in the St. Joe's game. And like I said, over the last 2 games, that's 80 straight minutes. Both teams had a hard time getting 55, 60 points. You take away the last 2.5 minutes in this game, they probably scored 8 points on comeback, just rushing it down and scoring. But in our half court, we've been pretty good there.
Lately, you haven't been getting many points off the bench. Tonight you had 18, but 14 with RJ, who's usually the star. So, can you talk about that, points off the bench? It's been again, up to today, you haven't been getting that many.
Yeah, I mean, other than to say at the end of the day, when you get to this time of the season, you're shrinking your bench. You just are. Naturally, you're shrinking your bench to 7 to 8 guys, and I think, getting RJ back and having Jameer back allows us to shrink our bench a little bit more. Jalen got in there just a little bit tonight, but we played an ironclad of 29, 22, 14, 37, 25. I mean, at the end of the day, the best teams in the country right now are really playing about 7 to 8. And I think if we're healthy, we'll probably play about 7 to 8.
All right, folks, thank you all very much.
Thank you.